Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's me, your host, War Rabbit, and today we are back again with another round of tournament lists from the weekend. We had a decent showing of a lot of tournaments. We had some quite large tournaments like the Salt City GT. We had a big team tournament somewhere, I forget which one it was. Where is he? Had like something like 300 players in it, but it was a team tournament. Here you go, 320 Summer High TT International Team Tournament. It's good. As I've always felt, it's good to know about team tournaments and seeing what's going on, but that format is just so different than singles and like the type of 40k that I play that I don't have any real interest in it other than like some of the insights from the actual super good tournament players. But yeah, as always, we're coming at this with Tau focus, so even if the Tau list doesn't do well, but I find it somewhat interesting or important to talk about in the meta for Tau players, I'm going to talk about it. So I understand a lot of people probably like, well, why are you talking about a Tau list that went like 3-3 or something at a large GT? But anyways, let's get into it. The first tournament we're going to be looking at is the One Thick Grand Tournament of Motor City Gaming. It was, let's take a look. I think it's a 50-person tournament, and the first player, the first placing is Randy Burgum, and he ran a Tau Empire list, or more specifically, a Kroot Hunting pack list, an Oops All Kroot list. This one's a little different from what I think is the better Kroot Hunting pack list, at least right now in the current meta of Knights, Deathguard, and Flame or Overwatch spam that we've been seeing out of like say Thousand Suns. But he did do pretty well. He's got a little funny list name. The next thing is that we're going to start off Kroot Flesh Shapers. They're going to go into your Kroot squads. They're going to give himself Trail Shaper. Is going to give you your he's going to go in. I believe I always forget. How do I always forget the Kroot rules? Like I know what they do. You throw the Flesh Shaper in, he gives you a benefit, and then it's always where is it? Why can I not? Just a second. Sorry, guys. This is I looked at him before. I know he's the one that gives you trail finding. Yeah, and then it's once per turn when an enemy unit advances, you get the movement, and then you can put your guys in strategic reserves, and you can just shove them back into strategic reserves like a 20-man Kroot squad. War Shaper recover weapons. It just makes the War Shaper his Shaper's blades a little stronger. It just makes him a decent melee threat. You got the triple Lone Spear. Or sorry, yeah, double Lone Spear. Sorry, I just my eyes just like kind of fuzzed over. There's only two of them, and no Kroot Hot Flock on these guys, so they're just there to just get that full rerolls to hit for your Kroot guys. You got the Carnivore 20-man. You're slamming in one of the characters. Another 20-man slamming one of the characters, and then the rest of the Kroot Carnivores being 10-mans because unfortunately the 20-mans went up in 10 points, so they're much harder to maintain larger squads in it. Because if you try to, so you just have all these Kroot, and these guys are just they're gonna go on the board with the 20-mans. They're probably just gonna soak up some hits and just flood the board. And then when you lose one 20-man squad, you just respawn them. Probably most of the time because they have the 5-up invuln, and then all the benefits from this Flesh Shaper. Let's just go over to the Flesh Shaper real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. Because I'm pretty sure the Flesh Shaper only gives them the 5-up feel no pain, or I could be wrong. Sustained hits. Yep. Gives you a 6-up, and if they kill something in melee, it's a 5-up. So those 20-man breaks with the Flesh Shapers, they are quite durable with the 5-up invulnerable save and the 5-up feel no pain if they kill something. They're just generally good. I'm surprised because like the list right now, because this is just a good list. Everything has -1 to hit, 5-up feel no pain, high OC value, scouts or infiltrate. And you got the Kroot Farstalkers, you got the double Kroot Farstalkers. These guys are just going to run up the board. I think you put a War Shaper. Can the War Shaper lead one of these guys? I always forget. I'm like so good at remembering like all the other garbage for Tau, and it's just when it comes to the Kroot characters, if he can lead the Farstalkers, and then this is his root Arner, he just makes his melee better. You might throw him into the Farstalkers instead of like a 20-man Kroot, because you want the Flesh Shapers in the 20-man Kroot squad, and then like a Trail Shaper, you put him in the other Kroot. You put him in the other Kroot Farstalkers because they are technically better than the 10-man Kroot squad. Kroot Hounds, three units of 5. They're just there to take the board, do random stuff. I'm pretty sure they're 0 OC. They are 0 OC. There's no way they have OC1 because Nurglings don't have OC1 in Where are they? So these guys are just little beastie boys that just, yep, C0. They're just there. They run up the board, do something stupid, move block. Maybe you need a secondary that requires you to be in all the corners of the board, you know, something like that. Kroot Hunting Rampage is just the actual hit of the list. It's 3x18, the gorillas, and they come in, they just do way too much damage for 170 points right now, especially how durable they get in Kroot Hunting pack. They don't have the -1 to hit, but they do have just so much damage, and they have grenades. So not only are they doing is one of your squads doing mortals in the shooting phase, because like you're gonna get close to like a knight with the Kroot Hunting Rampager squad, and you're gonna have all 6 of them there. You're gonna chuck grenades at them, and then you're gonna charge them and get mortals on the charge, and then slam into them with the Kroot Rampagers, which will probably take out a single knight in one turn with only like 1 command point usage. So it's like 170 points punching into a knight and clearing it up. And it's pretty dangerous. And then you have the actual like kind of quote unquote range shooting power of the list, and it's the Kroot Hunting Riders. These guys are kind of interesting because they can fire at anything that fires at your Kroot. So if they don't kill the Kroot Hunting Rider, and they're surprisingly durable, let's actually take a look at them, because I think these are the real unsung heroes of the list. Because like obviously the main guy is going to be the Rampagers, because the entire army scouts forward, right? So you just flood the midboard turn 1 and just rush and just push them back. But the thing is that once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, when a friendly Kroot, I'm pretty sure this is once per turn. I don't know if that's a hard once or if it is all 3 of them can do it. I'm pretty sure it's all 3. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments if it's a hard once per turn, because it doesn't because of this unit, so it's only once per turn. So they just shoot at basically an extra 6 times every single turn, because like it's a T6 5 wound with a 5-up invuln. Like these guys are they're durable enough to be annoying, right? Like yeah, you'll probably kill them all, but like you might get 1 or 2 of them because they have 5 wounds. Like if a knight despoiler class with like the double Gatling cannon shoots in the unit, it might pick up the whole unit, but if it survives, it's going to shoot back. And you don't want to shoot the Kroot Hunting Riders because they're just there to shoot. You want to go fight the actual Kroot themselves, because if you don't, they're just going to swarm your primary and take it over, because like it doesn't matter how big your knight is. Once there's like 30-40 Kroot at its feet, it's just going to hold down the entire board. There's nothing you can do. But yeah, the list is it's the Oops All Kroot playstyle. I like it. It's expensive. It's a very expensive list to collect. I think this is over $2,000 worth of models. I think it's like almost 2,500. I could be wrong. I think the Rampagers alone are almost $500, and the riders, because each rider's $40, and that's 120. I don't know, each rider, I'm pretty sure each rider's either $40 to $60. If it's 40, that's okay. Like it's 120, 240, 360 plus that, so that's about $1,000 just in these guys alone. And then you have the Kroot rounds, which are like $30 or something, and the Farstalkers each are like $70. And then the actual Kroot themselves are just like, oh yeah, here's what is this? This is 10, 20, 30, 40, and then plus another 40, so that's 80 Kroot carnivore squads. That's a $60 box, if I remember correctly. So that's 480. So that's a minimum of 1,500. And then the actual Kroot themselves, these guys are all like $40, $50 each. I'm pretty sure the lone spears are 60. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, this is just a fun little list. This is kind of like the guard recon element type list, but instead of having like three Lehman Russ and a Rogel Dorn commander, you just bank on this big beef of Kroot Hunting Rampagers. The other style is gorillas and tanks, where you just forgo all the foot stomp, like the small Kroot, and you just go, instead of all like the Kroot carnivores and like the Kroot characters, you might have like 1 Kroot carnivore squad with a war shaper just to like be Kroot Hawk Flock in the back line. You're just going to have the gorillas be the front line, and then you're going to have tanks behind them, and there's just nothing the enemy can really do, because if you try to get into position to shoot the Tau tanks, like the Hammerheads and the Sky Rays that are in the back line, you're now in position for them to fire back, because you're going to pick up like 1 or 2 Hammerheads, right? There's still going to be 4 more tanks shooting at whatever just took out that guy. And then if you try to get line of sight on the Rampagers, the tanks will peek out and get you. So it's just kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. That's why I think Kroot Hunting pack is just going to be the best list. And I think once you see the nerf to Knights in Deathguard, the Oops All Kroot probably is going to struggle, because the next list is kind of like a silver bullet to this type of list if they're unlucky. But yeah, the next list, this is second place, and it's going to be Kyle Treya for Thousand Suns. I'm going over this Thousand Suns list because I remember in the last comment section on the Reddit post that I made, someone was talking, but no one's talking about Thousand Suns. So I looked into it, and I think I've got some general understanding of this type of list. So they're doing a Grand Coven Thousand Suns list. So Thousand Suns, they do psychic tests. They perform a ritual, and they can do a psychic thing. Most part, it looks like just Exalted Sorcerer. He's got Incandium, that's double Doombolt, and he's going to go into probably his Angor squad, the Enlightened squad. Infernal Master, he's got the Eldritch Vortex of Veptoth. I forget what the hell that does. It's the they one strength and damage to the psychic weapons, and I'm pretty sure his Fires of the Abyss is a psychic weapon, so that's going to be +1 damage and strength to his, I believe that's a torrent weapon, so that's just really good. Infernal Master for another Rubik squad. Magnus the Red's the actual backbone of the list. He gets to do 2 rituals every turn. He's going to try to cast Doombolt because all he has to do, Doombolt's Warp Charge 7. He gets 2 dice and he gets +2 to that roll. So he just gets he's most likely going to be casting Doombolt every turn. And then he's got the Grand Coven gives benefits to psychic weapons, and all of his weapons are psychic damage or have the psychic keyword. So he's just getting a ton of benefits from this detachment. Of course, you're going to see him. He's a big model. He's 420 points. He's pretty tanky. You can get him to do like -1 damage, or you can get him to put hazardous on stuff that shouldn't. You have a sorcerer, Umberlithic Crystal. This is the uppy downy guy. He's going to be going in to a Rubik squad most likely. Zangor Shaman is most likely going to go into a Zangor squad. The Enlightened. He's just there. He's just a little dude. Probably had 55 points. And you have the Rubrics. Rubrics are the actual, like, it's crazy when you look at Rubik Rubik's how many flamers these guys have. They have 4 flamers plus the character adding another flamer, and you get the flamer guy with the Eldritch Vortex of Veptoth, which is making his Fires of the Abyss even better. Is it just the model, right? Yeah, by the bear, because I cannot imagine strength like whatever 2 damage flamers on Rubrikai. That'd be insane. But yeah, so these guys, they're just 100 points that they are really, really strong into any infantry spam, because they will just pick up an entire infantry squad every turn. Does not matter what infantry squad it is. 3d6 flamers plus and if you're within 12, you get the warp flame. Sorry, they don't have it. My bad. I was reading that as like the Bale Flame pistol, like the little flamer pistol that like Sisters of Battle get, the Inferno pistol, not the Inferno pistol, the Flame pistol. I forget the name of it's called, the Sisters of Battle. But no, they just have a bolt pistol. So you get 3 flamers plus the character that gets a flamer, and the flamer gets the benefits of the detachment, and then you got the Aspiring Sorcerer. He's got Malefic Curse, and he's getting stuff from that as well. And then you got an autocannon equivalent that just dunks, and they do decent at melee. They're not like amazing, but you don't really want to walk at them because they will just melt you with warp flamers. There's just nothing you can do about it. And it's just 3 squads of it. You put in 2 of the Infernal Masters in, and you get the normal sorcerer on another one. You got a Rhino. I think you're putting this guy in the Rhino so he's protected for at least a turn before you want him on the field, and then the Umberlithic Crystal guy will just kind of be there. You got a Rhino for just, again, it's just doing that. And then you got this the backline shooting of this list. Mutilative Vortex Beasts, they give +1 psychic charge to your ritual. Doesn't stack with Magnus, obviously, but it's still good for like any of the Infernal Masters. The Exalted Sorcerer, he doesn't get any benefits, but he gets Incandium, which lets him double. He gets a Doombolt after Magnus does. So having one of these next to him while he Doombolts is going to be pretty good. Then you got the Xangor Light, and you put the Sorcerer on the disc in here. You put the other Zangor Shaman in here, and then this guy's by himself. These guys are really tricky. They have you end it with a 9, they get to move away from you, and their great bows are okay. It's not like super like amazing, but they're okay. And you got some Zangor guys, just little idiots. They're just there to absorb some stuff, do actions and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they're just there to either block, do actions. It's a pretty disgusting list, but it's just these 3 Rubik Marine squads that just hold the entire back line. Like they basically hold the front line, because you're gonna, whatever you move forward is gonna get overwatched and they're gonna die. And that's why you see some Tau players, they're just running 6-man stealth teams, because that overwatch, because you're trying to move into position and they just overwatch you with that flamer. And if you have a 3-man stealth team, it's just gonna die. And it kind of goes for everybody. We're like, yeah, we need our stuff, the chaff units, to be a little stronger to survive this one turn overwatch from these Rubric Marines. And then if you don't kill the Rubric Marines, or more specifically the Infernal Master, because like the Rubric Marines outside of like the Aspiring Sorcerer is probably okay to have in there, but he might be the first one to go, like, type of deal. I could be wrong. Let's see what he does. I'm pretty sure the Infernal Master, the Aspiring Sorcerer, is probably the first guy to go, unless he needs something. It makes a ranged attack reroll wound roll run. Oh boy, yeah, this is reroll, full rerolls to wound on flamers. Yeah, that's gonna be, that's a dangerous. Malefic Curse is okay, and they're 2 wounds apiece. So, oh, sorry, the Aspiring Sorcerer is 3 wounds apiece with a 5-up infall. Jesus Christ, this squad is so good. Yeah, I think you'd kill the Aspiring Sorcerer first, right? Does anyone did any one of them have the? Nope. Icon of Flame. There you go. They also ignore cover. I forgot the Icon of Flame lets them ignore cover. I'm sorry about that. I forgot that part. So yeah, they have flamers that ignore cover. They're basically, if Starsight squads wanted to do even more damage, because they just, it's just so disgusting. And then they have their little action they can do where they do that. So yeah, I think this type of stuff after Deathguard and Knights get lists is going to be like the top of the meta. And I think GW is probably going to tap at least these guys, because Magnus being good is not bad. The triple Mutable Vortex Beast, they're just a long range shooting of the list, and they just happen to also give a slight benefit. So that I'm like, okay, it is what it is. Same with the Zangor Lighten. They're just there, you know, they're just guys. Yeah, I think they're like strength 5 shooting, like strength 5 AP2 shooting with like 2 damage, and it's like, okay, like, yeah, I think it's like 18-inch range. Where is it? Let's double check. 30-inch, two shots, ballistic skill 4, 522. It's there, you know. That's 10 shots with the big 80-point model. Let me double check, because that should definitely be a 6-man squad instead of a 5. I could be reading wrong. Yep, Aviarch. It's a 6-man squad. You put the big guy in there, and they just kind of roll around and casting doom bolts and shooting strength 5 AP2 damage. Like I said, it's basically shooting power swords. You know, 10 power sword shots at 30-inch range. It's good. It's good shooting. It's annoying to deal with if you're like, because it's designed to kill Space Marines, but like, it's there. You know, it's a really dangerous shooting type list. And you don't really see, like, outside of the Mutable Vortex Beasts and Magnus, you don't really see any armor. So obviously Magnus and the Mutable Vortex Beast should be enough to take out pretty much any armor in the game. But yeah, it's a good list. It's no wonder it came second. And the Kroot Hunting pack, I want to see if they played it, because obviously they went both undefeated, so they didn't play each other. They did not play each other. So I think if the Randy Bergen went up against Kyle Treya, he probably would have lost, because the amount of flamers that list has would just melt them. It's kind of like getting that. That's probably the biggest problem I have with Oops All Kroot lists. They struggle into other armies that can do the same things they do, or are designed to mulch infantry. Like if you go up against, like, there was a similar Oops All Kroot list from a few weeks ago, and he went up against the World Eaters, just like Berserker Horde that won the whole tournament, and he just mulched through everything. Like there's just nothing you can do about that. But yeah, let's go on to the next tournament, and this one is the Kent Major 2025. It is a 100-player tournament instead of, I believe the last one was 50, if I remember correctly. Let's double check to make sure you have 50. So we're going to be doing one list. Sorry, it looks like 2 lists from here, actually. Let's see. Let me double check. Kent Major. Is it just the same list twice? No. Okay, it's not. So this is first place, Blood Angels. So they are a little bit of an upset. He did a fantastic job. One thing about this list is just normal, like, kind of Blood Angels, Liberator, Assault group. You got the Blood Angels captain with Ragefield Warrior. He's got that super, basically 1 turn, 1 fight phase out of the game. He's just going to do a ton of damage with that Power Fist. Mephiston, he's just a lone op guy. He goes around doing things. Dante, you're going to window slam him probably into a 6-man Sanguinary Guard squad. You got a Death Company captain, you putting him in a Death Company squad. And then you got the Speed of the Primarch Death Company captain. He fights first once a game. And you got Lamartis, he's going into a Death Company, and you got a little guy by himself. A lot of characters in this list. Intercessor squad, I'm pretty sure they're just alone. Impulsor, they're taking something. The Assault Intercessors, they're just really good, really fast, especially inside of Blood Angels, where they have a lot of benefits into the list. But yeah, they're just good in general, you know. I'm pretty sure it's Oath of Moment, right? Should be Oath of Moment. Strike Force. It's so hard because I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's just Oath of Moment. So they just roll forward, get some benefits from Oath of Moment, delete something, and they're just little Assault Intercessor dudes. They run around, they do enough damage to clear chaff. Like this little 5-man squad of Assault Intercessors charging into like a Zangor squad will pick it up. Blade Guard Veteran squad. These are the guys that are most likely in the Impulsor, unless I think there's a Stern Guard squad. So this is the first question I really had. I didn't see his games, but I'm assuming he's putting the Speed of the Primarch Death Company captain into the 10-man Death Company Marine squad. But I could also see Lamartis because he gives you lethal hits, as long as he's leading, and then they both just make it so that the Black Rage doesn't matter. The negatives of Black Rage, and then he's got 2 5-mans. So it's either Lamartis is going in the 10-man or Lamartis is going in the 5-man. So it's like whichever one Lamartis doesn't go into, the Death Company captain's going into it. I'd assume you're putting the because I'm pretty sure you don't have to like attach the model in the tournament in the play style until you see what the list is. Like if you're going up against a list where they have a lot of charging, put your Death Company captain in the 10-man. But if they don't have a lot of charging, put Lamartis in because you're not going to need that fights first on your Death Company. And, 3 Power Fists with Sustained and then super attacks with their Death Company. They're just going to come in and smack things. Sanguinary Guard, these guys are just overall good. They're probably better than the 10-man into most things. They're just going in with Dante. They're just I kind of want to say they're ablative wounds to Dante. It's kind of how most of these units are when they have like a big name character like Dante in it. And they just kind of roll in and take the hits for him while he does the damage. But most of this squad does more damage than Dante in like one turn of combat. But it's just kind of the way they do. It's kind of similar to like the Lord of Contagion and the Death Shroud. Yeah, the Death Shroud do a lot of damage, but that Lord of Contagion is the actual threat in the unit. Even though the whole unit's extremely dangerous. You know, Stern Guard squad. This is one thing I was thinking about because that the Blood Angels captain, Racial Warrior, I'm assuming he's going into the Blade Guard squad, and then he's just going inside the Impulsor, and they're just going to run him up the board and do things. But I could also see him going in the Stern Guard squad. He's most likely not, but that Stern Guard squad with that captain, because because the captain's reducing command points, right? So the Stern Guard squad actually wants to be shooting a little bit because they have decent bolters. They're not like super amazing bolters, but they're good enough, right? They do quite a bit of damage. They're not like shooting at. They're not like a double despoiler night shooting, but they're good enough, right? You put the captain in there. He's got a Power Fist, right? That Power Fist is basically equivalent to like one of these Blade Guard veterans mastercrafted power swords, right? And he's still a Space Marine, he doesn't got the same stuff. And then you got the heavy bolter and the bolt rifle. Like I could see him going in there because like the close combat weapons is because you get fallback and shoot for free basically on the Stern Guard squad instead of fallback and charge. So I don't know. He's most likely in the Blade Guard squad, but I could see an argument for the Stern Guard. But he's 100% in the Blade Guard. Yeah, it's a really good list. This type of list is, again, it's pretty dangerous. This list, because normally the Blood Angels Liberator Start group, they'll come with like triple Vindicators for fire support. This one just forgoed all of that and said, no, we're just going to rush you. And it works. That type of, because you can catch a lot of opponents off guard with these like super fast melee rush builds. Because if they're stuck in their deployment zone and they have no way to push out of the deployment zone turn 1, or you get second and they move forward, and you're able to pick up like most of their army because no one expects you to just jump forward 12 inches and charge. But yeah, it's just one of those. This is the type of list that, like, if you, the first couple of games are in the tournament are probably going to be easy because that's before you go up against the actual good players, and then that's like probably like games 3-4 of a tournament, because like most GTs only have like 3 turns. It could be like 3 and low or whatever. But like some of these ones will get up to, like, if this one specifically, like, look how many games this guy won, 7 games in a row. But I guarantee like the first 2 games are probably dog walks because they're all extremely highly scoring games as well, you know. And it's just one of those things where, like, I'm thinking that these types of lists are just extremely dangerous to run up against, and you're not prepared for it. But yeah, the next player is going to be Chris Rigg. If I remember correctly, he's a Tau player. He's the second one of them. Yep, right here. It's going to be 5-2, 24th place of the 100-player tournament. Yeah, 100 player. So he's better than almost 3/4 of the entire tournament. And the reason I'm talking about him is that he is in Monka, and he's running double enforcer with crisis bricks, missile knives. This is kind of what I've been like. This is just one of those moments where, like, yeah, it's an okay list. I think you got the double breacher and the devilfish in Monka, so you just strike swiftly, put the dream, start this guy on the board, scout move the breacher fish forward, and then exemplar Monka gives you 1 extra turn of Monka on one of the guys. And it's like, yeah, he's there. The crisis teams and the breacher fish, they're okay, they do their job. But there's like a part of me that's like, why not just take broadsides? You know, I feel like broadsides are just better than this. They just do so much more damage into everything, and they're 90 points versus 130. Like, you can get 2 broadsides per squad of these guys, and they don't do roughly the same damage, but they just shoot so much more, and they're much more durable. But that's just me. Let's see. Gun drone, guardian drone, yeah, -1 to wound. You throw them in that. Smart missile systems. I've been noticing a lot more people are doing smart missile systems instead of the gun drones on pretty much everything. No marker drones is on the commander. Yep, okay, marker drones on the commander, so you can mark. Good. Hammerheads, they just shoot ion cannon hammerhead. That is a tech piece. Does he not have any riptides? No, he does not. So he has that hammerhead with the ion cannon because you need to have more shots to deal with Death Shroud, and this is his one thing to deal with Death Shroud outside of the fire knives, because like the fire knives with that are gonna shoot in the Death Shroud. Probably one round of shooting plink off 2 of them, and it leave the Lord of Contagion and the rest of them. But the ion cannon, he can kind of just on his own chunk half the squad out. Hammerhead, just a normal railgun. That's just for shooting big knights or just like popping any blight drones or anything like that. And I think that's why people are kind of moving over, because you're getting a shit ton more vehicles in this meta because of the knights, and you need to have extremely high durability. And like the Monka is just you're gonna rush forward. He's got double piranha. Where's the ions? Triple ion. He's just there. Got the gun drones. Double gun drone, I don't know about. I like the utility drones that they have as well, but you know, it's assault. You need the assault to be able to move forward, and they're just shooting for the Pathfinder Chassis, so they're okay. Kroot, they're just there to do things, you know. They're just little guys. And then the main fun of the list is going to be the double piranhas. They just roll up the board. Depending on the layout, you can just throw one of these guys in the middle of the board and force your opponent to deal with it, because they're durable enough that you have to actually shoot into it quite a bit, and they're annoying enough that if you don't kill them and they come back and they survive more than 1 turn in the middle of the board, they'll just fly up to your guy and just hit you with a fusion blaster, and then shoot twin pulse carbines, and then just do like the stupid piranha thing that might battle shock you. And then it's not small. Like the piranha isn't like a small model, so it takes up some good Sigum space. Here's one thing after looking at Morty and Glory's list: triple stealth suit is just so expensive, and like if you run into like any flamers, they just melt one of your stealth teams in one shot. So that's kind of like what I'm seeing. It's like, okay, well, I I could see dropping the third and just making 2 6-mans, because like you're only going to be marking maybe 2 units a turn with you're probably going to stick out 1 stealth team, right? Because you have to ration them, and they're not going to be marking until turn 2, right? Because no one's gonna leave something out in the open that you can get a stealth team to look at. Because if the stealth team is marking something in the open that wasn't just a gift, I think your opponent deployed wrong, and you're probably going to win the game just off of that. But yeah, the enforcers, they're -1 AP on the fire knives, so they're okay. I think enforcers are more efficient in Sunforges. This is just a cheaper option. The enforcer commanders are cheaper than Cold Stars, so obviously they're going to be useful, especially if you're getting on the nose like that. But it's just, I just don't like crisis suits right now. Like, this is a good fire base, especially with how quick you are on Monk Ka, and it's just so fun to be like running around with your fire knives, and then you shoot and you just do nothing. Like, oh man, my 200 and what is that? 90 points. That's 200 and oh gosh, it's 220 points there, and then like 105 points for a commander, dude. Like, it's just so ill, and it's literally shooting more. Like the commander alone is almost half of the point of the squads, and they're shooting the same amount. It's just, they're just so pointed badly, and I don't know what to do about it, because like I don't know how you fix it. Like, I think one way you could do it is make it so that the ethereals could join crisis teams, so they get that 5-up feel no pain. And you do that with an enforcer and like a Sunforge team with an ethereal rolling around inside. That could be interesting, especially because they're doing that. But like, there's just, it's just, it feels bad because these missile pods, like, you get 6 missiles, and it's like, okay, high yield missile pod broadsides do effectively the same thing. Like, you can get effectively, you used to be able to get 3 broadsides in a single unit for the price of a fire knife squad and a commander. Now you can't anymore, because it went from 270 to 300. But yeah, it's like 180 points gets you 2 broadsides with missiles, and then like you get 4 high missile pods and 4 missile drones. So it's like, I don't know, and they're effectively the same toughness, and they ignore penalties to shoot because they're broadsides. So it's like, yeah, the fire knives are faster. Yeah, it's like you don't really want to waste money on strike swiftly when you're doing something else. But like the only reason you take strike swiftly is because you want these devilfish to move forward. But do you even need the devilfish? Like, are they really there doing anything at that point? Because like they're just taking your breachers for a ride, and then they die. It's like, yeah, then you can body block stuff like that. It's good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, breacher teams technically, they're always going to do out damage, like star sights, but it's just not a good thing. Yeah, as a Tau player, I'm just like, I love crisis teams, but then it's like, oh yeah, my inner Kroot is speaking to me. Just go all Kroot, you'll win games. You know, yeah, you got to play fast, but who cares? You have 1,000 Kroot on the board. But yeah, it's a good list. It did go, if I remember correctly, what was it? It was 5 and 2. Where are you? At 5 and 2. Sorry, 4 and 2. Yeah, congratulations, man. You did a good job. I just don't like crisis suits right now. So the last list, this one is going to be what I've been seeing a lot more of, and it's going to be from Brad Chester. I believe this is like a variant of the top list. So Aeldari, he came in first place of Salt City, and the Salt City is a 108-person tournament. And this is a very long game. So yeah, 7-0. That's a good record. I guarantee you he beat the Travis King guys. Let's just take a look. Yeah. What is Travis King's Deathguard? It's most likely Mortarian's Hammer. Yep. Nope, yep. It's just Deathguard, good stuff. Oh, and he took a knight. So it's just like, could you imagine being the Eldar player that goes up against Deathguard? Like, oh boy, at least it's not knights, and he puts a knight on the table. It's like, oh, thanks, I appreciate that. But yeah, so Aeldari Warhost is just good for like aspect warrior spam, like he's doing. He's got the Autarch with the dragon gun, so he's gonna go inside of a fire dragon squad. Autarch with the Reaper launcher, he's going into Dark Reaper. Hugin, he's getting just slammed into a fire dragon squad, and whatever this squad shoots at dies. So if you have a knight, this will pick up this squad, the fire dragon squad. With Fugin, it will pick up a knight every turn. The Autarch with the fire dragon with a melta gun and a fire dragon squad, they might be able, if they roll hot, can like kill a knight, but they'll most likely just chunk it. Jane'Zar, you slam her into a Howling Banshee, so she auto advances 6, and she gets advance and charge through the Banshees. Lickish, Likshi, Lakaish, she's going into Warp Spider stuff. She's just a butt. She does whatever the hell she wants. I like her stuff is stupid. Like, she's just a good data sheet. She's just like, Pure Camp Point is the thing is, you know, you can flicker jump, which is use this flicker jump, and you're like, oh well, what does the flicker jump ability do? Well, let's go check out the Warp Spider. I think this type of list should get nerfed at least slightly. I don't know how you do it, but flicker jump, you remove a fate each time this unit is selected to make a normal move. It can use this ability. If it doesn't, at the end of the turn, this unit is not eligible to declare a charge, but Lickish makes it so you can. And models that have a move characteristic of 24. I can just move 24 inches now. Wow. The interface roll and D6 for each model. And it's like, oh, well, I could suffer some mortal wound if you have like a lot. But yeah, you could just move 24 and yeah, and charge. So you have an effective threat lane range of 36 inches on this lady. And like, ew. And then she can shoot. And she shoots well. So it's like, yeah, I'm just gonna get, oh, it's only OC1. The Warp Spiders are also, so OC6, I just, you know, dunk. And then I get all the battle focus skills. So it's just one of those things. Yeah, she's just too fast for what she does. It's like, oh yeah, like you could roll bad and lose the entire squad and all that is lickish, but like it's just 24-inch movement. She's basically a flyer. Like, that's how quick she's moving, and she just doesn't care. Does she have, let's see, yep, jump back. So she has fly, so she literally does not care about anything. She just moves through everything. Doesn't matter. Of course, there are Void Reavers. There's your front line. They're a scout front line. They just go up there and they go scout forward, and they're like, okay, well, I die. They're like the scouts or the rangers. They're just gonna help up. They do decent damage. They're not like gonna kill a knight in a turn of combat, but they'll be enough to like muscle in on some poxwalkers. Wave Serpent. This is where you're gonna be putting the 10-man Fire Dragon squad. He's gonna have Fugin in it most likely, and this squad is gonna just trundle up, dispense, nuke whatever it shoots at, and then you re-embark. It might take 2 turns to re-embark, but like if you don't kill that Fugin squad and gets back in that Wave Serpent, it's over. That's going to be a lot. You have to kill whatever these fire dragons relatively quickly. Dark Reapers, these guys are just good shooting. They're just really good. The Reaper launcher, let's go take a look. I forget, I'm pretty sure it's like a super auto cannon. Let's go Dark Reapers. Boop, 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 boop. Or the las cannons. You got the missile launchers, they do Reaper launcher, yep. Nope, they're just super las cannons. I forgot. And then you got shuriken, but you're going the super las cannon. So you basically got a ton of anti-tank shooting with the Reaper launchers, right? Reaper launcher, and you just go pew. Strength 10, strength 5, ton of anti-tank shooting, ignores cover. They just shoot, and yeah, they kill things. It's just who would have thought? They're gonna shoot at infantry. They're gonna shoot into Deathguard and kill Deathguard, and you got a lot of them. And you got the Dark Reaper. The Dark Reaper guy. He does exist. So I guess he's just not good right now. The Dark Reaper Exarch. Howling Banshee squad. This is the one that you're putting Jane'Zar in, and then you got an extra one for more melee damage. Rangers, they're that, and then you got double swooping hawks because they're little butts. They do whatever the hell they want. Same thing with Warp Spiders. Like, oh yeah, one of them can charge, the other ones can just move forward. It's 24 and shoot and just grab objectives, because that, like, you can't screen out a 24-inch move. You can't. You just can't. Like, it's just they move 12 and then turn to. They effectively can move the entire length of the board in 2 turns with this ability. So it's like, what do you like? They can start at their deployment zone, go to the mid board with a 12-inch move, hide behind cover, and then just 24-inch move up behind everything. And then they have, I'm pretty sure they have deep strike. Yep, they have deep strike. That unit has everything. I wish Tau had something like this. This is a hard list to beat. I definitely, and they're also getting like super moves because of Warhost and their swift maneuvers. The actual army rule battle focus gives them extra movement, and it's just the fire dragons just walking forward, and like 2 fire dragon squads. Just, oh my god, it's just so much anti-tank shooting, and it's only 220 points, man. Like a Sunforge team with a commander is like 300 something points, and it's like, okay, well, compare that, like Fugin, so that's 300 and 340, and if you take a Sunforge and just a bare bones, you take a bare bones 80 points, and I think a Sunforge is like 240. No, 240. It's 140 or something. This is just me at 150. So it's 230 points, right? So they're effectively a 10-man. So they get 10 shots, right? U-House gets 10 shots. Wrong buttons. I'm clicking all the wrong buttons. The fire dragons for 220. And it's like, oh, well, that's cool. And then you look at the fire dragons actual damage profile, and you realize, man, Sunforge got real shafted, because like I would, if I was a Tau player, which I am, and I saw this, the fire pike, come on, yeah, it's just one of them things. Strength 9 flamers, man. Sorry, assault melta. Get the dragon's breath flamers. It's just just cry on the inside, because you just see, oh, you get the fire dragon Exarch cloak combat weapon, Exarch dragon fusion gun, you get the fire dragons, and then the fusion guns, and it's like, man, you just look at them, and it's like, oh yeah, you get the full reroll to hit and wound if you target a monster or a vehicle, and that's effectively what the Sunforge gets. That's a reroll damage and wound. This one's to hit and wound, and reroll the damage. What? And they get plus 6 inches from Fugin. Oh my god, I'm sorry. This makes me hurt. And it's Melta 6 and Melta 3. What's the Sunforge? I'm pretty sure fusion guns are Melta 2. They get assault. These are the same points costs. It's 220. It's the same points cost. If you wanted to get assault on your Melta, you have to buy a Cold Star, and they do more damage. It's only 1 attack, right? Strength 9, AP 4, D6. Strength 9, AP 4, but they're also hitting on a fucking 3 and 8. And you can reroll everything if you target a vehicle or monster. And then you get a free unmodified 6 hit or a wound, and you can do that once per battle, so you can just drop 2 immediate like fate dice, or what is it called, miracle dice for retributors. Basically, like if retributors could do the old retributor thing they had before they nerfed Saint Catherine. So you get 2 of these guys. You get 2 aspect tokens, and you just dump 2 shots into into the Exarch's fusion gun. Yeah, it's nuts. And he took the Exarch's dragon fusion instead of the fire pike. Wonder why you take that over the fire pike, because the fire pike seems better. Does the other squad have a fire pike? Is it something to do with Fugin? I think it's something to do with Fugin. Is Fugin only for the dragon fusion gun? Because if it is, that makes a lot more sense. No, Melta weapons. Huh. Ooh. Ooh. Fugan, what are you doing? I wish my commander had strength 14 shots. Why didn't you take a fire pike? I think he meant a fire pike on this. Maybe he didn't have a fire pike. Huh. I wonder why. Might be like a, because the Exarch's Dragon Fusion gun it's just worse than a fire pike. Because you can get 12-inch Melta on this with Fugan in there. Is it got something to do? No, it's just any all shooting. Huh. Okay. Okay. And they got grenades. Do Fun Sport have grenades? No, they don't even have grenades. And they got grenades. Oh my god. Okay. Well, instead of me dreaming about what could be, I think that's a good spot to end the video. Thank you all very much for watching. This weekend it's been kind of it looked to be just a curb stomp of, again, by Knights and Deathguard, with a few guys taking it. I think the next the A tier, so to speak, of the game's gonna be like Blood Angels, World Eaters, Thousand Suns, and maybe Sisters, but Sisters are kind of good because GSC is going to be good. I think GSC is going to get hit because Host of Ascension's too good right now. Yeah, Eldar right now is kind of nuts. I think even after the nerfs, like Leagues of Votann, from what I've been seeing, are kind of nutty. From the leaks that just came out. When those get fully released and they come out, and I think it's going to be Deathguard, Knights, and Votann. And yeah, and Votann's doing good before they get some major changes, which are just really good. But yeah, I think this week we have a little bit of a kind of, again, more stagnant meta, but you have you have a lot more, like Eldar doing well. Who would have thought that bringing 15 Fire Dragons and Fugan was gonna be good into Knights? You know, like, who would have thought? Not me. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you're gonna see like the flood the board lists that just like hope you don't have infinite flamers, like hoping you're dodge Thousand Suns, or you're gonna have Blood Angels lists where it's like, okay, well, my 10 Death Companies plus Lamarty charging in your Knight is gonna pick off your Knight, and then they should survive the clapback. And then I have extra ones, and like Sisters of Battle being Sisters of Battle and being able to just kind of punch through even if they don't have like the super best anti-tank, and then just also still being able to take Canis Rex at his reduced point cost is kind of nuts. But yeah, Thousand Suns, I think Thousand Suns are also, they're just like, once you get rid of Knights, Thousand Suns is gonna be a lot better, because you're gonna struggle into fighting that Magnus core with the triple Mutalith, because Magnus will just sit behind his L-shaped ruin at home and just pop ritual after ritual after ritual, and he's just like, what are you gonna do about it? I'm Magnus, you know, I'm hiding behind an L-shaped ruin, I'm poking out one feather to see you, and half the board's not gonna be able to see. But yeah, I think the meta is going to develop a little bit more. I think we're a little bit past halfway, so the next couple of weeks we're going to see we're probably going to see another balance pass. Obviously Imperial Knights, Chaos Knights, and Deathguard are getting hit. I could definitely see like the ones that can actually go into them getting a slight nerf. I could definitely, like, as a Tau player, like I could see like Kroot Rampagers getting hit. They might be too good once you get rid of like Knights, because like the one thing they could struggle against is going to be a Knight, and once they're gone, it's kind of over. But yeah, I think we're good. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see me do like what I want for like a Tau Empire balanced data slate, and I'll post it. I'll make a video about it and what my thoughts are, similar like what Art of War did with what they want to see from the next balanced data slate. Yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Have a great day.